is finding the probability of mutually exclusive and inclusive events, which you have absolutely no idea what that means. Okay, first thing is we have to define this. What's the difference between, this should be exclusive and cross this off with inclusive. And the best way I can describe the difference between inclusive and exclusive would be this. If you are dating somebody exclusively, what does that mean? Thank you. What?
The only person?
Yeah, the only. Exclusive means the only. Okay. Exclusive means that the two don't relate to each other. You're not going to date somebody else. You're going to be exclusively. It's single. Okay. If it was inclusive, okay, if it was inclusive, it means that, I guess you could, inclusive, let me get right out of the book, two things happening at once. Two or more happening at once. And it'll make more sense when we talk about what's going on here. Okay, for example, and we're talking about this with probability. Let's say the probability of you rolling a dice and, let me see what it is, what's the question? A sum of a 6 or a sum of 11. Okay, if I asked you to find the probability of rolling a 6 or an 11. Sam? Didn't you tell me that 2 hours ago? Okay, the first thing you have to look at this and say, are these inclusive or exclusive? And the best way to ask yourself that is, can they happen at the same time? Can you roll a 6? Okay, this is 2 dice. Okay, this is dice 1, dice 2. When you roll 2 of them, you have to add their numbers together. That's what this whole table is. Okay. Is it exclusive? In other words, is there any overlap? Are there some 6s that are 11s? No, they're all separate on my little sheet here, correct? Okay, that would mean this is exclusive. And the probability of that is this. Okay, the probability of that is the probability of rolling a 6 plus the probability of rolling an 11. You add their two probabilities together. If it's exclusive, you simply add the probabilities together. Again, this will make more sense after we talk about the next thing here. And what's the probability of rolling a 6? Well, how many 6s are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 6s. 5 out of how many possibilities? Anybody know how many possibilities are here? 36. Probability of rolling 11 is how many? 2 out of 36. So the probability of rolling a 6 or an 11 is 736. Okay? That is mutually exclusive because they both can't happen at the same time. Now, something that is inclusive, which means they could happen, there's going to be overlap, would be this. What is the probability of, let me find it here, of rolling an odd number on one of the dice? The probability of rolling an odd on one of the dice and a sum of 8. Or a sum. And a sum of 8 or a sum of 8. It's got to be and. Or a sum of 8. Or. I'll let you write that down and we'll think about it. Probability of rolling an odd number, in other words, odd, 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 and an 8. So here's what you have to look at. Is there overlap there? Well, let's look at all the odd number choices first. So if you're rolling an odd number dice, anytime you get an odd on either one of the dice, which would be this, all of these would be part of that. All of these would be part of that. And all of these would be part of that. As well as all of these. Correct? All of these. And all of these. all of those, which looks like everything because maybe I should block them out. Can I change that? Here, let me give you this. For that first thing, everything, because this dice is odd, that means it's true. Anything here, odd, 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 odd dice, 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 odd, 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 odd. Anything going down this column, odd, 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 odd. We could get that probability. What would be that probability? How many are not shaded in? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Take 9 away from 36. 27. The probability of you rolling at least one odd dice is 27 out of 36. Okay. The probability of getting a sum of 8, well, they're right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Plus 5, 36, is 32, 36. But here's the deal. This is what makes it different, children. You must subtract from this the overlapping times, because you can't count it twice. In other words, if you look, where is there green and orange on one thing? This happens both with this and with the sum of 8. This happens both with the odd numbers and the sum of 8. When you have overlapping things that happen for both categories, you must subtract those to the times that both of those happen. So I have to take 2 36 away because you have to subtract the probability when they both happen at the same time. So my answer actually is 30 over 36. The little formula that they use in the book is this. You know, when it is mutually exclusive, it's the probability of A happening plus the probability of B happening. When it is inclusive, it's the probability of A happening plus the probability of B happening minus the probability when A and B both happen at the same time. And this one, they happen both at the same time. So that's why I had to subtract it. Subtract it. And it still isn't, still not going to make a lot of sense to you, but we'll do some examples and then maybe it'll kind of graduate. This is one of those things that kind of grows on you, like bacteria or hair, if it would be. Look at page 444 with me. Actually, look at page 445 with me. Let's see if we can make heads or tails of this. Is everybody there? Because you're going to have to read with me. Focus, pocus, schmocus. Look at example number 4, Christian. Natalia has music from a variety of different artists on her MP3. Do people still have MP3 players? No. So that went out with what? About how long ago?
That went like after CDs, before iPods.
So like,
Well, don't iPods have MP3s as their music?
Well, yeah, but they're not primarily MP3.
Okay. There are 26 rock artists. Write this down. There's 26 rock artists on her MP3 player. There are 18 pop. There are 19 country. And there are 10 alternative. And there are 7 crossover. What is the word crossover when you talk about music? Crossover means crossover artists mean that they don't have a particular thing. They can play, they could do rock, they could do pop, they could do country, they fit all categories or both, because you know sometimes country music singers end up in the rock or pop thing depending on the song, so it's like a crossover song. Maybe you've heard that. Alright, it says this: the music by the crossover artist Natalia chose is the pop and country charts. So these 7 crossover go with both pop and country. Okay, they overlap with that because that's what their crossover is. And here it is. If Natalia's music player randomly selects the next artist, what's the probability the artist will be singing pop or country? What is the probability it will be singing pop or country? So here, this is what you write down. I want the probability of pop or country. So you look at that and you have to say, is that mutually exclusive or is it mutually inclusive? Is there some people who are pop and country? Yes, there are, because that's what we just talked about. There are some crossover people. So you're going to have to use the inclusive formula, which means you need to take the probability of the pop people plus the probability of picking a country person, and then subtract the probability of it's a pop when it happens both to be pop and country at the same time. So looking at that, how many pop people are there? Now you have to be careful with this because pop also includes the crossover because they fit in both categories. So how many total people are there? 7 plus 18. 25 out of a total of how many if you add all these together? Let me just do it. 80. Very nice. Were you looking in the book?
Yes.
Plus, what's the probability of country? 19 plus 7, which is 26 out of 80. And then you have to subtract where the overlap is, and 7 people overlap into both of them, so you can't count them twice. Okay, so you have to take away 7/80ths. When you do that, you get, 51 minus 7 is 44 out of 80, or 22 out of 40, or 11 out of 20. Your probability that when you play your MP3, which nobody has anymore, is 11/20ths that it will be a pop or a country person. How was that? That was pretty exciting, don't you think?
Yes.
Poof. All right, look at page 446 because I'm not confident in you just yet. Let me go back to this screen. We'll talk about this. Look at practice letter A. What's the probability of rolling a sum of 2 or a sum of 10? Is that inclusive or exclusive? Inclusive or exclusive? A sum or 2 or a sum of 10? Do those overlap? If you look at the sums of 2, where are they? 1 and a sum of 10. Are there some sums of 2s that are also sums of 10s? No. So that is exclusive. You just add that probability plus that probability. Letter B. What is the probability of rolling at least one even number or a sum of 3? Are there going to be some times when you roll an even number and you get a sum of 3? Yes. Boom, boom. Both of them actually are. Some even number. Let's do that. So it would look like this. The probability of rolling an even number plus the probability of rolling a sum of 3 minus the probability when an even number is rolled and gives you a sum of 3. Well, probability of an even number is going to be the same as the odd numbers, which was what? What was that, 27 over 36? That's what we did, right? 27 out of 36 times you're going to roll an even number on one of the dice cubes. How many sums of 3 are there? 2. And how many times does a sum of 3 come from one of the even numbers? 2. So you actually have to subtract the same thing you just added. So the answer is 27 over 36, which is what? 3/4? Well, there's got to be one more here. Do we try one more?
Yes.
Say yes. You want more homework or less homework?
Less.
Is it fewer or less homework problems?
Fewer anyway.
Thank you. Fewer problems. Less homework, but fewer problems. You can count problems, you can't count homework. You don't say I had 5 homework today, did you?
So maybe
Look at letter D. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know if I can do letter D. I didn't read it, but every now and then these get confusing. Angelina uses Bryson's data from example number 3. Oh no, I don't want to go to example 3. She's planning to call 200 people from Wyoming. She assumes that 10,000 of the people are 75 years or older are also employed. Wait, did we do example 3?
maybe.
Alright, I don't want to read that one. That would hurt. Let's look at letter C then. A digital music player randomly selects a song from a group of 12 rock, 12 pop, 5 country, and 3 alternative, right? What's the probability that the disc music selects either rock or alternative? Well, that's not even that. I don't want to do that one. Well, is it exclusive or inclusive? Exclusive, so it's going to be easy. Alright, no, we're going to I am, let's do this. Stop this. I do want you to do a quiz today.